so much to Connecting with Jennifer Fields, and I am so happy that today you get to meet one of my work friends, Sarah Fraser. She also is a marketing badass, and we're just buddies in the auto repair world. In fact, let's go ahead and have you just introduce yourself, Sarah, because I've already got stories to share about you already. So please tell us who you are, where you are in the world, the name of your business, all that.
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me. My name is Sarah Fraser. I am with Haas Performance Consulting. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm the VP of Business Development and Client Services for Haas Performance Consulting. So basically what I do is I do social media for independent automotive repair shops. I help out with some other things, but mainly what I'm focused on right now is helping shops find good people to work for them and helping those technicians and those service advisors looking for good companies to work for find those jobs. So I spend most of my day doing interviews and writing job ads and searching through resumes and helping shops find technicians and service advisors. And it's been a really interesting year. We started doing this about a year ago. It was something that we just saw a need from our clients, that they were struggling to hire, and they would hire somebody and that person wouldn't work out. And so we started digging into that a little bit and seeing that, shop owners are not always the best at interviewing people. They're not, it's not something they do all the time. And so they maybe miss details, or they don't ask the right questions, or they don't really get to know the person. And then they just hire out of desperation, only to find out that that was not the right person at all. And so we kind of stepped in and said, well, let us help you do some interviews, and let me look at your job ads and rewrite them a little bit and be a little bit more engaging and enticing and show your personality and the culture of your shop more in this job ad. And that's what I spend most of my time doing now. I'm still doing a little bit of the social media, a little bit of marketing, doing a lot of training. So I do get to go out and speak at different events, which I have a lot of fun doing that. Most of the training I do is focused around working with and marketing to millennials and Generation Z. I also do training on things like building an amazing business culture, leadership, hiring practices. So kind of talking about a lot of the stuff that I'm doing day to day. So yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I have so many stories I want to share. Okay, first off, so everybody, I met Sarah through her dad. Her dad is the legend, Bill Haas, and he is, of course, a business coach in the auto repair industry. So, of course, his gorgeous daughter, of course, were you voluntold to work for dad, or did you want to work?
Not at all. Was never voluntold. It was kind of something that happened sort of by chance and sort of in a way that I think it was most perfectly intended to. I had recently quit a job and had just gotten married. So this was almost 11 years ago. And my mom was looking for a car, and my mother-in-law knew a guy who sold cars because my mother-in-law was a massage therapist and she was his massage therapist. And she's like, hey, you got to go see this guy. So I take my mom to see him, and we find a car, and we're just chatting, and he starts asking me all these questions about, what I do for work or where I used to work or my skills. And all of a sudden it was like I was being interviewed. And so I said, Glenn, are you looking for somebody? And he was like, yeah, actually I am. And I was like, oh, okay. And wasn't sure if I wanted to take this job. I grew up in the automotive industry, but had never thought that I would go to work in it. And I thought, you know what, why not? It was like 15 hours a week answering the phones is what this job was. And I mean, he was a one-man shop. He bought the cars, fixed the cars, sold the cars, did customer service cars as well, all just him. And so
were you a service advisor, or were you a receptionist, or kind of both? Oh, is your hubby home?
That's why I'm like, it might be. Hold on.
Oh, no worries. I can't hear the dogs. It's okay.
Okay. Inside. So it wasn't a service advisor. It was more of just kind of a receptionist kind of a thing at first. I ended up working there for 6 years. And by the time I left, we had a staff of 13. So we really grew, learned a lot. So
Yeah, you
we,
did.
hired technicians, hired a sales manager, hired a finance manager. We took over the building next door to us that the gentleman was retiring and sold his shop, and we expanded into that. And yeah, so it started as a 15-hour a week kind of part-time thing, turned out to be a 50-hour a week full-time office manager job. And by the time I left there, I could literally do anything under the roof except for fix a car. So I could finance a car. I had my salesperson's license. I could sell a car. I could do right service. I got to learn all of the parts of the business kind of slowly and gradually over 6 years. And then that just led to me wanting to do something a little bit different. A big part of it was I wanted to work from home. I wanted some more flexibility. And I just wanted to feel like I was making more of a difference. And I didn't know how to do that. And I kind of felt stuck. And so Dad and I had so many conversations about, I want to do something different, but I don't know what that is. I didn't go to college. I don't have a degree. What am I qualified to do? I'm not really sure what fields I should even be looking in. And love auto repair, just wasn't really vibing in that shop anymore. And I started going, well, you have shops that you help out. What are they doing for social media? And he was like, well, actually, some of them could use some help. And so that's where I started, as I came in and I started helping. Yeah, so I started helping his shops do their social media while I was still working in the shop and kind of doing back and forth. And then there was also a point where I went and saw Dad was speaking in Chicago. And so I went down to Chicago to see him speak. And if you ask him, he says I said something along the lines of, oh, I could do what you do.
Really?
But what really happened was earlier that day, they were talking about another trainer who had gotten sick, and my dad had stepped in and done some of their classes for them. And I was kind of saying, if something happened, like I could come in and help you. And he was like, no, no, no. You're going to write your own classes. You're going to, bring your own talents to the
I can
table
hear
and
your
let's
dad's
do it.
voice. I can hear him saying
Yeah.
like, no, no, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He was like, if you're going to do this, you're going to own it. It's got to be yours. And so that's one thing that's been really cool about coming to work for my dad is it was never, wasn't voluntold. He never asked me to come to work for him. It was really me kind of saying, hey, where's there a space for me and what can I do? And then once we figured that out, he's always been so good about being open to things that I want to do that might be a little bit different, or letting me have my own voice and kind of being able to play there a little bit. So
That is
it's
amazing.
been amazing. And so I think it's been 5 years now.
Bravo,
Yeah.
honey. Bravo.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Because we were, I think it was at Vision 2018 that I met you for the first
That
time.
was my very first vision. I think that
Yeah.
was I wasn't training or speaking yet. He kind of said, I want you to come to Vision just to network and meet the people. And Tracy Capriato and I have kind of had this conversation before too, because her dad was like, come to this industry and meet the people.
Right.
And that's the people here
Yes.
are phenomenal. And I just remember
Yes.
leaving that conference being like, wow, what a cool environment. And even
Yes.
seeing people who do the same thing that my dad does,
Yep.
but they're really good friends and they help each other out and they get along really well. And
That's
it was just like,
exactly
wow.
right. Just like we
Mm-hmm.
marketers, we're all in the same
Yes,
industry, but there's so much business for all of us. Like you don't have to be like this. You don't have to. Why? Why?
exactly. And I just love that. I loved seeing that, not so competitive, that like we're all here to better this industry and we all bring something different to the table. And I think there are a million great marketers out there, and that doesn't, I'm not for everybody, right? I'm not the one for everybody, and I'm okay with that. And
Yeah,
same, yeah.
same. Yeah. In fact, okay. So story number two about Sarah. So she was teaching in the 2021 online vision. Remember, we had 2021,
Oh yeah.
and because COVID had hit, and they had to pivot hard, as did everybody who had an event, and take it online. And so Zoom was just coming online. It was like they were experimenting with different like webinar formats. And the technology that we have today was not the technology in 2021. Remember that? And when we were teachers, I was teaching that year, you were teaching that year. We both were teaching different aspects about social media. Yours was focused on millennials. Mine was focused, I can't remember what mine was, but I don't even remember what I was teaching, but whatever, we were doing our thing, right? And because I had been going to multiple virtual training things, I had learned that in order to give energy to the webinar, especially when you're a teacher and that technology was not allowing us to interact with people, we were operating in a box. We couldn't see, and the chat was the only lifeline you had to anybody breathing in your class, right? So here you are talking about millennials and building community and interaction. So I'm jumping in like a helpmate going, yeah. And I'm like repeating what you said. And I'm like buzzing it up in the chat, and people are starting to join in because I'm a catalyst. And it's like, and your energy went up because like, yay. And I was like, yeah, great class. Good job, Sarah. And then I got the call from the event director saying, that was too much. You were trying to steal her thunder. I'm like, no, I was helping her with her class because she was talking about community.
Right. No, I
Totally
love
got
the chat.
smacked down.
I love when people are active in the chat. Like even when I teach a live class, I tell people interact with me, ask me questions when you have them. I'd like to make it conversational and personal. And if you want to learn something that's not in my PowerPoint that pertains to this topic, let me know so we can talk about it. And doing that virtual switch, which for me was pretty early on in speaking in front of people, so it almost was a little more comfortable to go to being behind a screen instead of standing in front of a room, but the lack of feedback did make it really hard to be, and then I'd start talking faster because I didn't know if anyone was paying attention, and you kind of get to this like,
right?
do you just want to get it over with because you can't tell. So having the chat and being able to see that people are paying attention and that they agree or that they have questions or that what you're saying resonates, it's just amazing. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I love and I try to anytime I do a webinar or something, let people know, like, use that chat feature. If you have questions,
Oh yeah.
I'm very personal. I'd like to interact. It doesn't have to be, strict. And, if you have questions, throw them out there. So
Amen, sister. In fact, I don't even know if I've told you, but like, okay, so obviously for anybody who's watching, or if they're watching our archives and they're like, oh, that's so, so 2000 late. But like, we had to go through the COVID technology bump, if you will, to get what we have now, because it's always evolving. So like I said, we had this, not Zoom technology, not a bunch of gallery stuff that we could see. Now, fast forward to here we are, July of 2023, just last Thursday, like a few days ago. I was co-hosting a podcast, and it's really interesting because again, the technology is caught up, right? This podcast is for the real estate world. So this is real estate investors investing in turnkey single family home rental properties in Jacksonville, Florida. So it's called JWB, the Not Your Average Investor Show, NYAIS.com. So anyway, the hosts, and I've been part of this community, and it's because of the chat, Sarah, because of the chat. Everybody who gets on there, I'm like, hey, Lee, hey, Leo, hey, Kathleen, hey, like I'm doing the hey, and we're making jokes on the side. And because of that interaction, that's why I'm invited to co-host, because everyone knows me. And then of course, as soon as COVID was allowing people to meet in person again, circa 2020, mid 2021, and then things would get shut down and open and shut down. But then like 2022, I did a multi-city tour with this group. So
oh, fun.
But yeah, isn't it amazing how like we've really evolved just in 3 short years with this online stuff?
It's so helpful for me now because I'm interviewing candidates for shops that are all across the country, right?
Right.
And instead of just doing a phone interview, I usually start with a phone interview, like a short and sweet 10 to 15-minute interview. But then when it comes to doing a more in-depth interview, the face-to-face and being able to have a conversation with somebody. So being able to, and we've been utilizing things like GoToMeeting for a long time. And, but now it's like the general public is just so much more familiar with something like Zoom or Google Meet or whatever it might be, that when I say, hey, I'm going to send you a link for a virtual interview, it's not this like confusing thing, people understand it and expect it and are almost now appreciate it because it's more convenient than having to actually drive to a shop to do an interview. They can do it on their lunch hour, or they can do it before they leave for work, or while they're still at home with the kids and that kind of stuff. So I think it's added so much convenience and flexibility in what we're able to offer.
So true. And I love that you're helping people recruit new employees. That's really important. I love it.
Like real life has become so much more acceptable. And I don't know how else to phrase that, in that,
I love
like,
that.
I'm interviewing somebody and I hear their dogs in the background, or they hear my dogs in the background, and to me, then it's like, oh, what kind of dogs do you have? And then I get to know them a little bit better. And you get to have a more personal conversation with somebody than this very business, where people come into an interview and they're so nervous and they're maybe not really being their truthful self because there's a lot of pressure. And so being able to kind of, I don't know how else to say it, but like real life has become more acceptable, that things happen and there might be a baby crying in the background or a dog barking in the background, and it's okay.
I'm totally down with it. Here's another one. Makeup. I've never really been a fan of makeup, but now who cares? Right? Like, you don't need
I
it.
love makeup. I've always been a fan, but I've always been an art person, and so to me, like, playing with makeup is like playing with
Oh,
paints
it's
and
your happy
colors. And
place. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
nobody expects
yeah.
you to be like perfect all the time.
Oh yeah, no.
In fact,
Mm-mm.
now when I see somebody with really cute makeup, like yesterday, I went to the coffee shop of all places. I went to the gym, and then I rewarded myself with a chocolate mocha. Of course I did. And but the girl had like the really cute, like when you see the makeup tutorial, she had all the contours. Like she looked like an anime character. She had the white eyeliner that made her eyes like really, really big, and a cute little like pink tip of a nose, and like it was so cute. And her hair, which I was like, dang, that's adorable. But like, I don't see that much anymore because nobody else wants to try that hard. But it's great.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. So I was recently doing a class on the millennial perspective, and it's kind of more what I want from an automotive repair shop as a millennial, things that millennials are looking for. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go. I was kind of refreshing my class a little bit and putting some newer stuff in it. And I was like, I'm gonna go on TikTok and I'm just gonna search millennial struggles and millennial things on TikTok. All I learned is that I don't know how to do my hair. I don't know how to do my makeup. And I definitely don't know how to dress myself. And then I got off TikTok. So
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So I am obsessed with the hair tutorials. Like when they do cool braid stuff, like that's art. Or
mhm.
I really also for a while there, because I've got the curly hair, but not I don't have like super curls. I've got like more like wavy curly. But after learning about like watching the Black Girl hair magic kind of stuff, and like what they have to go through to like tame those beautiful curls, or like even putting on wigs, and like I was like, okay, I will never complain about a bad hair day ever again, because like the work that goes into that, right? And then you're right, like the makeup tutorials. And then like again, I honestly, Sarah, I'm just lazy. I just don't wear makeup because I think I can count on
Yeah.
one hand in the last decade that I've put on makeup, and one of them was my wedding. you know,
That's amazing.
you know, or like I think I did like a talk, like a blue, it wasn't a TED talk, it was a blue talk, which is like a TED talk knockoff. So I was like, okay, I'm on camera, I guess I better look. But yeah, it's like, at least in our auto repair industry, I'm not feeling like I have to, because it's almost like as if we look too polished in our industry, we don't look authentic anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of nice that I've never felt like it was something I had to do. So I used to work in a makeup and skincare store
Did
where part
you?
of our uniform is that we were required to wear 7 different colors on our face, which would include like a blush, a bronzer, eyeshadow, lipstick, eyeliner, whatever. You had to have 7 different
Really?
pieces, and you had to know how to do all of it because you were selling it. And so, I mean, I've definitely been in an industry where you feel that you have to keep up with that, to now where it's more fun because I get to do it because I want to and I enjoy it, and it's not an expectation. It's just something that I like, you know.
Seven
Same
different
with
colors.
when I
Let's see, hold on. 7 different colors. Let's see. Okay, lips, cheeks, eyes. I guess the eyes could have multiple colors, yes.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
three. One, two, three.
yeah,
Eyelids. No, sorry, eyelashes. I guess that's a color. Is that a color?
yeah. Bronzer,
Oh,
highlighter,
bronzer. And then like liner, eyeliner,
eyeliner. You'd have like a highlighter too, lip liner, lip color. Yeah.
highlighter.
So I mean, and it wasn't like they would ever count, you know. It was just that was kind of like their standard rule, and yeah, it was. I love the job though because I like makeup. It was easy to sell something that I'm in skincare and things that I'm interested in, and um yeah. But even like I think back to when I first started speaking in this industry and going to presentations and feeling like I had to be really put together and wearing heels and wearing really nice dresses and everything because I see my dad and how he presents himself always very well put together, tie, coat, dress
Always.
shoes, like, and
Mhm.
that's him. And then I learned that I am not comfortable in high heels. I'm not comfortable in clothes that I feel like I have to wear shapewear under, and you know, it just,
Right.
and so I've learned to find ways to make myself me and comfortable, but still polished and professional, but like in my personality and in my comfort zone. And I am a much better presenter when I am in comfortable shoes and when I'm in clothes that feel like me and my hair feels like me and I don't feel like I'm trying to fit into a box. And so that was a lesson that I learned in my first year, and it was a big one because it's helped so much being able to just show up authentically me and be okay with that.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. So, we've talked a lot about what you do. Um, I'm curious, what is your why? Now, I always ask this because there's always something under the surface that drives us to do what we do. And you're so open about it already. I think I know what your why is, but just if you could think about it, like, do you have like some kind of divine, for lack of a better term, like divine purpose that you know that this is what I'm here for, or you just kind of go with the flow?
Definitely a little more go with the flow than having like a plan and a purpose mapped out. But I do feel that I strongly want to make a difference, a positive impact in the people's lives that I interact with and the companies that I interact with. And that's such a rewarding thing to see. And so with social media, which I enjoy because I'm artsy and creative and I love to be able to do that. And I still very much have fun doing it. It wasn't giving me what I get now when I find a technician or service advisor for a shop that's been looking for one for months. And then they have somebody and they're like, Sarah, I can't believe it. Thank you so much that, you knocked it out of the park. Like that to me is so rewarding. And I do get that reward with the clients that I serve with social media too, who will send me really sweet emails and appreciate what I do. And I love that too. But and I think too, the hiring piece, being able to talk to people again, because I went from being in a shop, being surrounded by people all day long, to working from home and talking to my dogs. And so now having that interview piece and being able to talk to people more has been really nice. Otherwise, it's going to a conference was like my only social interaction. I'm like, oh, people.
I know,
Let me
right?
talk to everybody. And so now I get that more during the day. I think my why of why I got into the industry is, it just, I was supposed to be here, and I didn't realize it for a long time. And watching my dad do what he does, and I'm his number one fan. I think that he's amazing, and seeing the clients that he serves and coming into the industry and just seeing how well respected he is and how highly people talk about him, which at first was really scary because it was like, oh my gosh, I have these huge shoes to fill, but now I don't feel that way. Now I don't have shoes to fill. I'm just in my own shoes doing my own thing in the same space, and it's been great. So yeah, there wasn't like a huge why that pulled me in. It kind of, like I said, happened by chance, and then it just, I love what I do. And we were talking about something the other day, and I don't know how it came up, but I think it was my dad was like, yeah, well, then when you win the lottery and quit your job. And I was like, I wouldn't quit my job. I really wouldn't. Like, I love what I do and I wouldn't leave that. So
That
I
must have
might
been
travel
music to
more.
his ears. He's like, succession plan, right?
Yeah. I might do what I do just, like on a cruise ship or in
There you
another
go.
country or something for a couple of weeks. But no, I wouldn't quit my job. So yeah.
That is so, so awesome. So let's talk about the people in your life. Okay, so you got your dad, you got your hubby, you got your 3 doggies, you got all the people that you're working with. You really do touch a lot of people. Tell us a little bit about your social circles and who's your inner circle, because like for example, I can't help it. The dance community is such a big part of my
Oh.
life because yeah, I'm a marketer and yeah, we've got our industry, but oh my God, you get me on the dance floor with fellow West Coast swing people. I'm like so heaven, like, oh, I'm around my people and it wakes me up and it feeds my soul, right? Who are the people that feed your soul and why?
My best friends. So a lot of my very close friends have been my best friends for a very long time. Like my best friend who lives in New York has been my best friend since we were in fifth grade. And I'm aware of how rare and unique and special that is. And he is an amazing person who is friends with everybody he meets. And so he has a very, very large circle of people, and we don't talk as often as we used to, and we maybe aren't as close as we once were, but it's like once we're in the same room again, it doesn't matter. And so he's actually he does stage management for theater, and he's doing a show on a cruise. He's been on a cruise since like May until December. So I'm hoping once he's back in New York in December, I'm hoping to plan a trip and go out and see him. And then my other 2 best friends who live here in Madison, which is actually what brought us to Madison. So we lived in a city about 2 hours away from here, and we just kept coming down to hang out with them, and we fell in love with the city. And they're our family, really. We call it our family. We have family dinners every other week, and it's just,
Family,
um,
that's adorable. I like that.
yeah, yeah.
Family
They,
dinners, that's cute.
and they're just, we spend a lot of time together. We see each other a couple of times a week, and we're very, very close. And during the pandemic, we were all each other had, really. So it was kind of the four of us that spent a lot of time together. And then I have a pretty big circle of people who are not local to me that I try to stay in touch with. Um, as far as communities that feed my soul, definitely going to music festivals. There's a group of people I met online and have camped with at Bonnaroo quite a few times. Unfortunately, we haven't been back since the pandemic, so hopefully next year we'll finally make it back out there. But that is like the event that keeps me going the rest of the year when I get to go to something like that. So just meeting people at concerts. There's a local group here, so new to the area. I didn't know a lot of people, so we joined an online group and we've gone to a couple meetups and stuff, and have made some pretty good friends through that. So just yeah, and then my family. I've got my brother and my sister and nieces. I've got 2 little nieces. So
You know what? I totally forgot that you have siblings. Are you the oldest? Are you the youngest? Somewhere in between?
I'm the baby. My sister is my half sister, so we didn't really grow up together. And then so it was just my brother and I. He's 3 years older than me, and he's got 2 little girls. So yeah.
Did dad ever talk to any of them to get into the industry or just you?
Mm, My brother is he was a teacher and now he's a dean. So he's pretty, yeah, he just got his master's, I think a year or 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah, he's amazing. He is so good with kids. His students love him. Like he is absolutely doing what he should be doing, and it's so cool to see. I could never do that. I am not a kid person, so it's always been fascinating to me to watch him do what he does, and just the conversations that he's able to have with students and stuff is amazing. So
Amazing. Oh, that's so great. That's so great. I love it. We're looking into the inner circle world of Sarah Fraser. I love it. And then Okay, so I want to ask you for advice, but I want to do it for two
Mm,
things.
okay.
For the auto repair shops, what is the biggest piece of advice you can give them to finish strong in 2023 and prepare for a recession in 2024?
Have a business coach. Have somebody, you know, in your on your side, have somebody guiding you, helping you see the bigger picture, maybe being able to point out things that you maybe wouldn't have seen or looked at, or what gets measured gets managed. And so to have that extra set of eyes, that extra person helping you manage and grow and succeed. And I think we all need a little personal cheerleader. Like we all need somebody that's trying to help us be better, and in business for sure. As a business owner, I think that that's imperative to have somebody who is able to do that for you.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool. So the second thing of advice, here's what I want. So think of life advice. Somebody who may be the younger version of Sarah, who's trying to figure it all out. What would you advise?
Mm. The younger version of me, I would tell her to start loving herself, and that life is amazing and beautiful and you should enjoy it. And that there are some really great people who want to be around you if you would just let them. And, stop being so afraid of socializing. And I was a very shy kid. I was a theater kid, so I had a tight circle, but I didn't really talk to other people. I was the kid that wore all black and had my very artsy vibe about me. And just it's always interesting because I think, what would life have been like had social media been a thing when I was in high school? Because it really wasn't until I graduated in 2003. And I remember at that time, Facebook, you still had to be in college. You had to have a college handle to be on Facebook. So like we had MySpace, but it wasn't what we have now. And I always wonder, would I have connected with more people because I would have been able to learn, like, oh, hey, they like that same band that I like? Or would I have been less scared to actually talk to people? And it's so funny talking to my friends now from, that have been my friends for so long, when they find out that I go and I speak in front of rooms of people for a living. They're like, I cannot believe you, like, no way that you do that. I did. So I remember doing forensics in high school just because my theater friends did it and I was a techie. I was like backstage, stage management, like building sets. I was not acting. So I just wanted to be on the bus with my friends. And so we went and did forensics, and I did straight fives, which is the worst score you could get, because speaking in front of people just terrified me. And now it's what I do. And so it's just kind of funny. I think I'd have a lot of advice for a young Sarah, but number one would be to love yourself, and number two would be to really embrace the opportunities that are around you. And yeah.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we wrap it up, tell us how we can find you.
You can find me on social media, Haas Performance Consulting. You can also find me just Sarah Fraser. Our website is haasperformanceconsulting.com. Um, we will be at a couple shows coming up this year. We'll be at Apex. I believe we'll be at Vision. There's one more that I can't think of right now, but I know we've got a couple of things coming up, so we'll be around, and we post about it on social where we're going to be and stuff like that. Yeah, you can always email me directly. You can find that on my website. I believe even my phone number and a link to set up a meeting with me is on there too. So I try to be as accessible as possible. So if you like to text, you can text me. If you like to call, you can call me. If you want to send an email, that works too. Yeah.
What's the best email for you?
It is S Fraser, FRASER 0815 at Gmail.
Awesome. And then do you want people to have your phone number?
It's on the website, so if
There
they
you go. Okay, cool. All
find it.
right. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
everybody, thank you so much for joining in on this conversation. I think there's some really cool stuff that are takeaways, right? Like I think Sarah and I demonstrated it pretty well. You can do marketing, but like there are so many aspects to marketing. She's doing recruiting and she's doing all the vetting of those candidates. We are doing videos enticing people to want to work with those companies. So it's like there's so much out there. And yeah, marketing makes the world go round, doesn't it? Marketing and
Sure does.
sales is like the oil for the world's economic engine. So
And
plenty
it
of
keeps
it.
changing and it keeps that. I think that's what's fun about it too, is it's like there's always something. I don't know if you've jumped into Threads yet. I'm just starting to play
Love it.
around in there. So
Love
it's like
it.
there's always something new. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know it's hard to keep up with all the new, but it's great. I think that was a genius play
Yeah.
on Zuckerberg's.
Yeah.
Hats off to the guy. It was like, oh, Threads. Okay. Oh, it's tied in with Instagram. Oh. I just now looking forward to my scheduling software to have that as an option so I can kick Twitter to the curb. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so everybody, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you, and thank you for connecting with Jennifer Filzen and Sarah Fraser of Haas Performance Consulting. Okay, see you later. Bye.